Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 sci-fi horror No One Will Save You. The film is directed by Brian Duffield and it stars Caitlin Dever. Now, the film focuses on Caitlin Dever's character Bryn, who is like an exiled young woman who lives on her own. She's been ostracized by the local community. And this one fateful night, she is visited by aliens, and she has to defend her home as these aliens decide they want in. Right, what are my thoughts on No One Will Save You? Well, essentially, this is a home invasion film. With a twist, and that twist is, it's aliens. Now, we have seen home invasions by aliens before to a large degree, I suppose. A fine example is Signs, but there's probably many others out there. I mean, you could even argue, Close Encounters had no home invasion scene in there. But so they've taken this subgenre of home invasions and twisted it on its head and given it this new approach. Does it work? Well, I have to say, for the most part, I thought this film was excellent. Very, very engaging. A wonderful central performance. And really quite unique. Now, to say nothing about the concept and the idea here, which is unique to a large degree, there is literally hardly any dialogue in this film. I think there's something like 8 words of dialogue throughout the whole film. There's nothing here to be said. It's not one of those films where it feels like, it has to say things just, for the audience's sake. This character of Bryn has nothing to say because there's nothing to say it to. It's really just her on screen for the majority of the film. And any other characters that you see are very, very briefly. It's like at the beginning of the film when she goes into the local town and she's kind of hiding from the community, to be fair, because she doesn't want to face them for something that you learn later on in the film what's happened. And then a bit later in the film, about halfway through the film, she goes back into the town, and again, there's no words of dialogue, just, almost like wordless interactions with the community. So don't go into this film expecting, huge amounts of dialogue, because you ain't getting it. What you're getting here is a situation that is, I think, really cleverly put on screen. And so you've got this young girl who, like I say, is living this reclusive life, and she has to defend herself against these aliens that are trying to invade her life. And she's so resourceful as well, and so creative in how she kind of is getting out of these situations. It does make for a very, very engaging watch. Now, this is not one of those films as well where for the majority of it, all you can hear is the aliens, and you see a quick glimpse of one in the shadows and stuff. Absolutely not. These aliens in this film are front and center, and they've got a very, very classic look. And you could argue maybe they are overused or overseen in the film, but I actually think it works. I think the balance is just right between fascination and fear. Because there are moments in this film where you do genuinely fear these creatures. And there are moments in this film where you question, what are they doing, and are they actually an enemy? What's actually going on? And that's, I think, the great thing about this film is you kind of leave it at the end, and it's a very ambiguous ending in a lot of ways. You're kind of conflicted by the ending. You're a bit like, do I like that ending or don't I like that ending? It's different, I'll give it that. It's not an ending I expected, but it's certainly an ending. And I think the ending will probably divide a lot of people. I'm not sure I enjoyed the ending. is what I'm trying to say. But I certainly enjoyed the rest of the film. It took it in surprising directions I didn't expect. The level of creativity and resourcefulness from this character Bryn was very, very good, and it's not just set over one night either. It's set over, I think it's a couple of nights, and it's also got a little bit of an Invasion of the Body Snatchers feel going on in the film. So it's taking bits and pieces from other sci-fi that we've seen before, and it's just kind of doing something different with it, doing something creative with it. And for me, it did actually work. And that, as a horror, you could argue it's not traditionally frightening. There are moments in the film where you'll be on the edge of your seat when she's hiding, and there's some good effects as well, especially like the light effects, the traditional, if you get caught in the light, you kind of freeze on the spot sort of thing. Those type of effects worked really, really well, I thought, in the film. The look and of the creatures is pretty good as well. I think the effects that they've used for them, and I'm not sure if it's CGI or practical, which to me suggests it's good effects. If you can't tell which it is, then it's good effects. I suspect it is CGI. And it overall, I thought it was an entertaining watch, this film. It's a film I only heard about or found out about, I think, a couple of weeks ago. And I think Hulu, who are showing this, certainly in the US, in the UK, we usually get the Hulu stuff on Amazon Prime sort of thing. Or Disney Plus, I think, as well. I think they are firing out some decent stuff. I mean, they gave us Prey last year that I thought was excellent. And I think this is another quality genre film. It's not going to change anyone's world. It's not going to change anyone's life. It's got an interesting concept that it managed to do something pretty creative with. And I had a good time with this film. And I suspect if you're a fan of movies like this, if you're a fan of home invasion films and you're a fan of sci-fi, then you're probably going to find quite a lot here to enjoy, because I think it's a pretty creative one at that. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you very much for watching. I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.